Hi everyone and welcome to the first official lesson for Operations Management, Unit 3, Outcome 3. As we've done in the past, we'll go through all the key knowledge points. Today we start with the operations function and its relationship to business objectives. So here we have all of the key knowledge points for Unit 3, Outcome 3. As you can see, there are 9 of them. It's a pretty intensive particular course, this one. There's been no changes with VCAR's announcements on Friday with the changes to the course for 2020. Unit 3 stayed all the same, Outcome 3 stayed all the same. So we've got those 9 points there which we've got to work our way through over the coming weeks. It'll probably take us 4 weeks to go through these particular points before we get even to a point of looking at a particular SAC. So this week we'll be looking at, as I said, the relationship between operations management and business objectives, and we'll probably cover the key elements of an operations system: inputs, processes, and outputs, and characteristics of operations management with both manufacturing and service businesses as our 3 points that we'll cover off this week to get us off to a good start with the particular program. Right, so operations management, a definition you can use is it's the coordination of resources within a business to achieve the efficient and effective output of finished goods and services. So what it's involved with, or it's concerned with, the how inputs are turned into outputs. So we're looking at operations management being a transformational process. It takes those inputs from a variety of resources and produces outputs of goods and services. So if you think any business, they are going to have an operations system within their business. The operations system is where the revenue is generated from the business. So whether it be a baker having flour and wages, etc., and rent on a property, all going in to make a loaf of bread, through to a service business like an Uber driver chauffeuring clients around the place. So he's got inputs going in as well. One's a service business. One's a good or service, which is the baker, the goods. Sorry. But they all are operations, and within an organisation, it's the operations management function which generates the revenue to pay for all the other departments within an organisation to achieve a profit for a business so the business can achieve its objectives. So remember back to Unit 3, Area Study 1, and we looked at the core objectives of businesses. So the main business objectives generally are to increase profitability, or to make a profit, increase market share, provide a reasonable return to investors, a satisfactory return to investors that they're happy with to continue investing in the business, and to contribute to the well-being of the community. So they're main business objectives that we're looking at. And if we're comparing the operations management system with how it achieves business objectives, we've got to know what our business objectives are. So there's some of them. So the operations management function obviously is directly responsible for the achievement of these objectives because, so here's the because, operations of the management system, it establishes the level of and quality of goods or services that are produced, that influences the overall cost of production as it uses the largest part of an organisation's capital and labour. That's a very important one. And it determines whether sufficient products are available to satisfy consumer demand. They're all determined through the management of the operations management system. Now, there are 3 key words in operations management, and you'll see them throughout the study design as you read through the study design and throughout the textbook, and they're competitiveness, effectiveness, and efficiency. And we can't answer the question of achieving business objectives, how does the operations management function achieve business objectives, unless we can answer what competitiveness is, what effectiveness is, and what efficiency is. All very important terms, and it's why this first introductory PowerPoint today is so important for the overall operations management topic. You need to understand these topics to be able to answer some of the more in-depth questions as we get further along into the operations management topic. So let's look at competitiveness first. So to meet business objectives, a business needs to have a competitive advantage over its competitors. So if its objective is to make a profit or increase profit by 10%, if there's no competitive advantage over its competitors, it's not going to generate the extra revenue that's required and be profitable enough to meet that particular business objective. So when looking at competitiveness, we need to look at a competitive advantage that a business can have over its competitors. So there are different ways that we can seek to have a competitive advantage over competitors. We compete with our competitors through cost. Obviously, we can produce a good more cheaply than a competitor, then that gives us a competitive advantage. We can compete through quality. If we specialise with a high quality product, it might be a little bit more expensive, but we become known for the quality of our products, such as Rolls-Royce. Then we can compete on quality, or we compete on speed of delivery. We produce our goods in such a way that they go through our operations management system so quickly. They may be the same cost, they may be the same quality as our competitor, but we can produce them and deliver them to our customers far quicker than our opposition. If that's the case, if we can make any of those happen, cost, quality, or speed of delivery, then we have an opportunity of gaining a competitive advantage over our competitors. So the next word we have is effectiveness, and we need to know what effectiveness means because in the study design, if you look through each of a lot of the study design points, when you get down to strategies, we're looking at the efficiency and effectiveness of strategies. You can't talk about the strategies when it has efficiency and effectiveness attached to it if you don't explain or you don't understand what efficiency and effectiveness is. So effectiveness relates to the business objectives. So effectiveness is whether and how well we have been able to meet the business objectives using a particular strategy that we implement within the organisation. So, and we are given specific strategies that we need to explore and discuss as we get further along in operations management. We need to look at whether they're efficient and whether they're effective for what we're trying to achieve within the business. So just be aware that effectiveness relates to how well we meet our business objectives with a particular strategy. And finally, we look at efficiency. So it's the final one. It appears in all of the strategies, efficiency and effectiveness. So efficiency relates to the productivity of the business. So what productivity, or more importantly, increases in productivity, so changes in productivity for the better. So what productivity relates to the amount of outputs that we produce for every unit of input used. So what we want to see is increases in the amount of output for the same amount of input. That would be an increase in the overall productivity of a business. Or we keep productivity the same, we keep outputs the same, but we decrease our inputs. So we're reducing our costs essentially. That will also increase the level of productivity of the business. So productivity is efficiency, or efficiency is related to productivity. You've just got to remember that. So when you're talking about strategies, you're talking about ways of improving efficiency within the organisation. And if a business is more efficient, then you can look at your strategies being effective, as in meeting business objectives. So that's how it all ties in together. So just to finalise this particular presentation, here's a strategic, the management team, the senior management team of a business, and we can see here that the operations manager is part of the senior management team as strategic. So he's head of his department, just like the human resources manager that we looked at in the last topic. He's sitting up there with the marketing manager, the finance manager, and the information technology manager, and there'll be managers that answer directly to him that look after various parts of the operation management function. But he's part of the overall strategic management team. To better understand operations management, we look at what the operations manager's role is and what it includes. He ensures the operations system meets the organisational strategies and objectives. He's involved in strategic decision making, as in planning, which may relate to designing an operating system from the ground up if they set up a new factory. So factors to consider include the design and layout of a factory, the product being processed, the process capacity of a particular product to run, or of the organisation, the location of the operations management system, the human resources that are required within the system, and quality management issues associated with the particular production of the product. So he's also involved, or he may delegate some of these tasks, but he's involved in operating the system. So this is tactical and operational as well. So we'll have other managers, frontline managers who report to him on these particular areas. So, and will include monitoring, including monitoring stock levels, work rosters, production schedules, quality control, etc. There are also other things such as inventory management, the levels of stock to be ordered and stored to ensure timely delivery, determining production rates, the quality, ensuring standards and quality procedures are met, so codes of practice are met, and ensuring the plant's reliable and therefore regularly maintained. They all fall within the operations management role, the operation manager's role. He may not do all of those things, he'll delegate some of those tasks, but overall he's the one ultimately responsible for the successful maintenance and running of the operations management system. So within the operations management manager's role on the previous couple of slides, there were a number of strategies that are actually listed there, which we'll go into in more depth as we go forward within the topic. But they're all things that he needs to consider, ways on strategies that he needs to that he can put in place to increase production, increase productivity and efficiency within an organisation, to essentially increase profitability of a business, which is meeting the objectives of a business. And that's how everything links in. So to summarise it on this particular page, for a businesses to achieve their objectives, they need to select or develop strategies under the direction of the operations manager that enable it to be more productive so as to gain a competitive advantage over its competitors. And that competitive advantage can come through cost, quality, or speed of delivery, or a combination of the three. So that essentially is it in a nutshell, and shows how operations management ties into business objectives. Business objectives, you need strategies. So you need someone who's expert in operations management who can choose the correct strategies to enable a business to be more productive, so to gain a competitive advantage in a particular area, whether it be cost, quality, or speed of delivery, or a combination of both. So that's it for today. There's a bit of work to do today. I want you to watch the Ed Rollo opening sections, so the first section, and do the exercises within that. There's an excellent handout from Teaching Bubble, which is also attached to these lessons. So if you can read that as well, it consolidates what I've covered here in the presentation on competitive advantage and efficiency and effectiveness. So I want you to have a read of that. And then there are some questions at the end of it. So complete all of those questions to consolidate the knowledge, and then go to the text and look at exercise 5.2 on page 215 and complete the questions there. So that's it for operations management, the introduction. I know there's a bit of work to do, but we'll be going through the topic relatively slowly, so there'll be plenty of time to get through all of the work. All the best, and look forward to catching up with you in Google Chat very soon. Bye for now.